Hey everybody, welcome back to Electric Cafe. Today's review is about Head on the Door by The Cure. This is my first Cure review, so this is interesting. I think this album came out in 1985 on Elektra Records. I believe it was their second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth album? Sixth album, if you don't count Japanese Whispers. It seems like there's more than that album. 17 Seconds, Boys Don't Cry, Pornography, Faith, The Top, right? Japanese Whispers. So this is their sixth album. Yeah, this is their sixth album. I think of all the times that all the album reviews that I'll do, I think some of the toughest ones will be The Cure. In some ways, because when it comes to rating songs, because I have you want to rate songs based on their merit and them being a cohesive song and a catchy song and not necessarily always catchy, but what I mean, like it hits all the right notes, right? And then you have songs that are just kind of your personal favorites, and they could be, especially with The Cure, when there's so many different types of moods they have. They have whimsical, and they have fun, and then they have harder, heavier stuff, and then they have darker goth stuff, and then they have some sort of dancey stuff, and there's a lot of different moods of The Cure, and so it's hard to balance those and your love for some of them, and your because everybody's going to like different Cure songs, and that's what's hard to rate against. So you have some of the classic singles, but then I feel like I want to rate the songs that I like and ones that are a little bit more different higher than those, and that's Cure is. But you also still want to respect that song is a really good song. Like I think the first song on here, "In Between Days," is a perfect example, and even "Close to Me," for example, the two singles from this album. So yeah, so I want to get into my notes about the album and then rate the songs and then my overall view about it and some of the notes. Actually, I think this is probably my seventh or so album review now, eight albums or so. This one I probably wrote the least about on, and it's probably because I think the more I know the songs and the more I know the albums more, the less I have to write about them because I know them. So probably if I do less notes on this one, probably, especially when I think about the overall good of the album, and then I rate anything bad about the review. What I like to do is I like to go song by song and then sort of give like the good and the bad about the album, and then sort of give the rating and my thoughts. And when I think about the good and the bad about the album, I think I wrote the least about the album. Just because then I can kind of go off the top of my head and I don't feel like. But yeah, I mean, I think the more I know this about the album, the less notes I'm going to write about it in general, which kind of makes sense. So yeah, the first track, "In Between Days," obviously it's the single on the album, catchy video, catchy guitar, catchy song, very, very good pop song, nice hook. I think it's a good song. Is it one of my favorite singles from the Cure? No. Is it one of my favorite songs by The Cure? Definitely not. I don't dislike it at all. I think it's okay. I think it's a very good song. I have it three and a quarter songs, so I think it's still a very good song for what it is. It's not necessarily one that I would play a lot, and I'm really critiquing it hard right now because Cure have so many good songs, and it is a good song, and it is a very good song. I got a three and a quarter song, but there might be some people out there that would rate it like a 4-star, Cure song out of 5 stars, like an excellent song, "In Between Days," but I don't know if it really hits that for me personally. Like me giving it three and a quarter songs, like I feel like that's for me is a very fair and a good rating. For me personally, I would probably, it's one of my, I wouldn't say least liked songs, least liked singles. It's just, I don't know. It's just kind of there's some Cure songs where it's just played a lot. Like Friday I'm in Love is a perfect example. Do hardcore Cure fans really like Friday I'm in Love? I'd probably say not. Is it a good song? Yes. So that's where the tough grading comes, and I want to be fair about the song, but I do like In Between Days a lot more than Friday I'm in Love. But that's kind of the quandary of it. Yes, it's a good song. Is it really a favorite song? Yeah, it's okay. So that's kind of the difficult thing with In Between Days. So Kyoto Song, for example, I like better. You know, it's a moody song. Its Japanese touch is really nice. I like the chorus. It's whimsical and fun, a little quirky, and that's what's so great about Robert Smith is he can make something such a unique pop song like this. And even though it wasn't a single, or it's kind of like a cult song for The Cure. You know, I think of people that probably would point to this album and write about the songs they like. I think a lot of people, hardcore fans, would like Kyoto Song. Um, I really like it. I got 3.5 stars. It was really close to putting it to 3.75 stars. It's really close. Um, it's a good song. It's a really good song. It's a kind of a personal favorite on this album. Then you got The Blood, which is, I don't know if this, I can't imagine this being the only Cure song that is kind of more Spanish. It would be strange to do that, but you know they definitely have the Eastern sounding album with the top. There's a lot of like the Wailing Wall and you know their Eastern influence, and then you have Japanese Whispers with the Japanese kind of. So there's like a like a ethnic theme in a lot of songs that the Cure wrote and even albums, and that they're influenced by the basically the culture of those, and which I think is really cool, and I think it added a lot of depth to the Cure's music, and I don't know if this is the only like Spanish one. I can't imagine this being the only like Spanish one, but it's got a kind of flamenco kind of sound, and it's kind of playful, and it's got a nice groove, and some of the those clapping, I don't know what they're called in Spanish music, but that has that, and the guitar and the drums work really well with the nice bass line. They're really experimenting with a lot of sounds, especially in this album and this time, and then into Kiss Me, Kiss Me, exploring a lot more of the different instruments around the studio and making different unique sounds. And I feel like also in this album, and I was going to mention it later, but I'll just mention that later, this next part, but about Robert Smith singing. But because that's kind of an overall view of the album and the time that this album was taken. So I got 3.5 stars. Oh, I'm sorry, The Blood, 3 stars. It's a very good song. Very good song. 6 different ways. I got a little bit higher, 3.25 stars. I really like the playfulness of it and the whimsical singing, and it's just kind of like a really nice song. I really like it. I think those are some of the most interesting songs in a row. Kyoto Song, The Blood, in 6 different ways. I mean, you got a Japanese influence, a Spanish influence, another unique song, and just kind of, I think, a lot of these songs on this is kind of the precursor to the more wide ranging Cure albums that are coming that kind of expand upon that even more. And here is kind of in the I wouldn't say in the infant stage, because I feel like that has a lot in the top in Japanese Whispers. It has that again with the cultures and stuff like that, and the influence, and Japanese Whispers is sort of like the more poppy, and it's got dance music in it, and kind of playful, and the top has a little bit deeper stuff, and kind of pulling out different cultures and stuff like that. So I feel like even though it's not the genesis of those sounds, like this is kind of like the staple of the albums that kind of came out after in a way. It's strange that I won't say it's strange because there's just so many good Cure albums, and people kind of rate this album really. I wouldn't say low in the grand scheme of the albums, but I regard this album a little higher than most people do in the ratings of the Cure, and that could be because this was kind of the album that spawned me liking the Cure so much, and then becoming my favorite band around this time. This album came out when I was 9, so I was very influenced by this album. Then you go on to Push, which I think is kind of classic Cure guitar. I think it's kind of a live staple of their live shows now. It's such a great flow to the song, and it's so effortless, and the way it kind of flows, and it's so cool that they kind of kept the first half of the song as an instrumental, because it just works so well that they're just like, oh well, these lyrics don't mean much for the song. Let me just let the song play instrumentally, and then we'll do the second half with the minimal kind of lyrics that the song does have. But it's just a great instrumental, and so smooth, and it's sort of hard to. It's just grown over the years. I think when I think of the song on the first album, when it first came out, it was probably one of the least impactful songs on the album. Like, I think when I first heard it, it's just the lyrics don't mean anything. The songs, they don't. It doesn't really go anywhere. It's not like a moody ballad or a pop song. Or a heavy song. It's kind of just like. But I think as it kind of grown over the years, and it's just a really catchy song, and I think it's kind of. Again, just grown over the years into a really kind of a Cure cult song, and I have it 4 stars. I feel like I don't know if I'm rating that a little too high. Maybe it's 3 3/4 stars. But when I look at the album, I look at like, there's a personal favorite I have on this. There's a obvious, like, I feel like I gotta give a 4-star on a track, and then I feel like I gotta give this one a 4 track. There's 3 4-stars on here, and they're all coming up. They're all in the I would say the second half because it's the last song on the first side. But yeah, I feel like the most impactful songs on here, I gotta give a 4-star, and I feel like Push is one of them that's grown. Okay, then you go to the B-sides, so the Baby Screams. I think the song is pretty cool. I like the guitar, the piano is cool. I like the aggression that Robert Smith is singing with. I think this song does get kind of a bad rap with Cure fans, but I think it's kind of cool. I have it 3 stars. I think it's catchy enough and groovy and dancey enough to where I can't rate it below a 3 stars. Yeah, it's kind of trivial and maybe basic, and it's not has much depth compared to a lot of Cure songs. I get it, but I think it's really catchy, and I really appreciate the sounds in it, the groove in it, the way he's singing in it. It's a cool song. Yeah, I got 3 stars. I mean, I can't feel like I want to rate it lower than that. I don't want to. Then you have Close to Me, which I think is the best pop song on the album. I think it's better than In Between Days. I think it's a unique song for the time with Cure. It's kind of jazzy, it's whimsical, it's fun, it's danceable. It's kind of I think it kind of showed that the Cure, Robert Smith, could write a different kind of song and it'd be a hit. It should have been a bigger hit than it was. I got it 4 stars. It's probably the most the catchiest song on the album. Some people might argue In Between Days, but In Between Days is really kind of I feel like Close to Me is a little bit more unique. Let's put it that way. A Night Like This is obviously a cult favorite for anybody who likes The Cure. I really like the fade into the intro, the guitar. It's definitely a cult favorite. I feel like the bridge kind of loses a little steam in it. a little bit, the chord progression in it, and so it feels like it goes into like a bridge. And I feel like that bridge kind of loses a little steam, but then it kind of gets back on track, and that's a very very minor thing. It just doesn't flow as well as the rest of the guitar, and maybe it's because of the beginning is such a beautiful song and so perfect that maybe the second half and the bridge doesn't really live up to where it starts out. But I got 3 3/4 songs. It's my fourth favorite song on the album. Great song. Great, right on, right on the verge of being an excellent song. I feel like Screw. I have it. It's my least liked song on the album. I do feel like it has a cool bass line. It's interesting lyrics. I got a 2 1/4 song. 2 1/4. It's okay. I got it a little bit higher than okay just because I like the bass line. So I got I would give it 2 2/4 star if it weren't for the bass line, but I feel like it gives a little bit of extra notch with that. So 2 1/4 song, 2 1/4 stars for Screw. Again, it's the least liked song on the album. I think most people kind of agree with that. It's not necessarily. A lot of people think Screw and the Baby Screams kind of hurt this album. I think Screw does. I don't necessarily think Baby Screams does. The combination of the two is kind of unique in a strange way, but I do feel like there could have been better choices for in place of that. And then the last song, Sinking, it's my personal favorite on the album. It's moody. It's the guitar, the piano, and then the keyboard. The combination is just amazing. I really like the lyrics on it. It's a super moving song. It's right on the verge of depressing and very uplifting, and I think that's where The Cure can be the most somber and really kind of earn their reputation as kind of a gloomy band, which I don't think they are at all, but they can definitely hit those notes. I think Sinking is because it is. Could it be a depressing song? Yeah, but I feel like it is kind of a beautiful song in a way too. I have it 4.5 stars. It's my favorite song on the album. Every time I think of this album, I think of this song. It can literally move me. There's only a few songs of The Cure, and I love The Cure. Cure are my favorite band of all time. There's probably about, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 times where a Cure song can move me to tears. I can think of like Trust, Sinking, maybe One More Try, 1,000 Hours, a few. Same Deep Water is this. Same Deep Water as You. Those 5 songs, for example, like those ones can move me to tears, like in a certain mood. Like those are probably my favorite 5 ballads of The Cure. Again, it's Sinking, Trust, 1,000 Hours, Same Deep Water as You, and then what's the song from Kissing? Is it One More Try? Yeah, One More Try. One More. That's gonna bother me. One More Try. Anyways, it's the big uplifting song on there because you got 1,000 Hours in that one, and then yeah, I mean those 5 songs, those 5 ballads are just super moving. I feel like there's another one on there that I'm sure there's another one that I'm missing. I don't think All Cats Are Grey has necessarily moved me to tears at all, but that one's definitely a moody ballad one, but it's a little bit more on the eerie side. But yeah, some great songs in there. I think the overall good is one thing I was gonna say earlier is I really like the years of like 1984 to like 1987. Robert Smith is really kind of experimenting with his voice a lot, and there's quite a few in songs in here where you kind of like Kyoto Song and hitting some different notes, and there's so many different ways he's kind of like that kind of brings to the whimsical songs, and some of the B-sides on here, like I think even more so the way he sings "Stop Dead," if you know "Stop Dead," or "New Day," or "Man Inside My Mouth," or "Exploding Boy," like those are four B-sides from this album, which I think are all better than "Screw," maybe even better than "Baby Screams," and maybe even better than "The Blood" in some ways. Although "The Blood" is different, and I feel like it does belong on this album. If this album replaced "Screw" and "Baby Screams" with "Exploding Boy" and maybe "Stop Dead," or maybe not "Stop Dead." "Stop Dead's kind of a B-side, but "New Day" is kind of one note and "Stop Dead" is kind of one note. "Man Inside My Mouth" is kind of a fun song. But I think any of those three, and then add "Exploding Boy," put "Exploding Boy" in that song you would choose instead of "Baby Screams" and "Screw," and I think you have an excellent album. Again, I feel like those are kind of, "Screw" is definitely the song that hurts this album. It's a very tight album. It's roughly about 37 minutes. It sounds very 85. I like the production. The mixing's good. All the levels are really strong. Yeah, could it use more dynamic? Could it used to be mastering? Sure. Anything from 81 to like 85, 87 could be mastered, I think, and help it out dynamically. It's just that particular period of time, a lot of the songs are very low and dynamic in the mix when you compare them to nowadays, and that's okay. I do like that they're not so dynamic. I do have the cassette here by chance below, and the CD version. Got the album version, and then also another original copy up there. I always like to show my collection. This is my original cassette from 1985. Surprised, gee, it's going to be 40 years next year. That makes me feel so old. Really, I don't think there's any. Oh, one thing I'll say, those are all the good things. Very tight album, good mixing stuff. When it comes to the bad of the album, does this have any knockout songs like other Cure albums? No, not to me. Does it have any killer goth, big rock, dramatic songs like they can write? No. Does it have the great ballad or great slow song sinkings? Up there? So I think when I think of the best of the Cure, does this album have the best of the Cure? Those kind of types of Robert Smith Cure songs? No. So I think in that respect, I think overall it does hurt the album when you compare it to other albums. But me personally, this has a place in my heart for the time and when it came out, and where I was at like 9 years old, and the next couple of years, this album is kind of special to me. So me personally, I don't know if I'll rate it better than Pornography. I mean, that's the stretch, right? I don't think I'll rate it better than Faith. I don't think I'll rate it better than Pornography, but it's close on a personal level that I like this album more than 17 Seconds or The Top or Boys Don't Cry for sure. I'll rate it better than probably Wish. Yeah, I'll rate it better than Wish. And so I think probably this album is like probably my fifth most favorite Cure album. I have it as a 78 out of 100, so right at the top of it, almost the very top of very good. When I look at the album, when I look at the songs, I got three songs that are 4-star or above. I got 6 that are 3 stars, and then I got 1 that's a 2-star. So you know what I mean? It's on the high side of very good. You know, I just got it there. I don't feel like I really rated any of these low. I think some people might think A Night Like This is a 4-star song for The Cure, or a higher song, and some people might think In Between Days is a little bit higher. But I think those people that do probably would think that The Blood in 6 Different Ways and Sinking and Screw and Baby Screams aren't that great, and maybe they don't think Push is a 4-star song. So I think it's balanced. I think I feel pretty confident in the rating. It's where it needs to be. Maybe for different reasons than somebody else might rate this album, but yeah, just a memorable album, and it's hard to really there's other albums that I would nitpick on certain things with. But when I think of the bad of this album, it's really just there's no epic Cure songs on here, in my opinion. In Between Days might be their breakthrough in America as far as their pop song and the video and things like that. But I don't think it really necessarily kind of hits the level of a lot of their singles. Even the singles before this, like Let's Go to Bed or The Walk or Love Cast or Caterpillar. I feel like all those are better than In Between Days. So yeah, so that's my review of Head on the Door by The Cure. Amazing album again. It's a personal favorite. I really love this. I really love The Cure in this particular time. The 80s Cure is amazing. I mean, what they did in 10, 15 years, 20 years was just magnificent. And this is just an example of one of their great albums. So yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Hopefully I didn't drag this video on too long. But yeah, 78 out of 100 for Head on the Door for The Cure. Really solid. All right, thanks for watching. Appreciate it.